You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Vice President Kamala Harris is in Wisconsin today for campaign stops in La Crosse, Milwaukee, and Green Bay. It's her sixth trip to Wisconsin since becoming the Democratic nominee. Republican Donald Trump was last in Wisconsin on October 6. He has no events scheduled in Wisconsin for now. The number of absentee ballot drop boxes in Wisconsin is far fewer than 4 years ago. Wisconsin Elections Commission Administrator Megan Wolf says there were more than 500 drop boxes in more than 430 communities 4 years ago. Now she can only confirm about 78 of them in 42 communities. Milwaukee and Madison have 14 drop boxes each. Racine has 7. Most places with drop boxes have 1. Some unsolicited text messages about voting in Wisconsin are designed to confuse people, not help, so says Wisconsin Elections Commission Administrator Megan Wolf.
I get very frustrated when these groups send out information and they don't get the facts right because it confuses voters.
You can find the facts at myvote.wi.gov. All 3 election workers in Westfield quit this week. About 800 people live in Westfield, which is just northeast of the Dells. They reportedly quit because of a dispute over a local recall election last month. The resignations come as early in-person voting begins next week. The Marquette County Deputy Clerk will run Westfield's November election. 24 Wisconsin high schools are getting new AEDs. Sudden cardiac arrest is a leading cause of death among young athletes. The WIAA is working with the National Federation of State High School Associations Foundation on the effort. AEDs can greatly increase the chances of survival when they're used right away. Wisconsin's haunted house attractions offer a wide variety of thrills in the second half of October. State Tourism Secretary Ann Sayers says a popular family-friendly draw is Jack-O-Lantern Nights at the zoo in Racine.
It's more than 1,000 jack-o'-lanterns. They light up the night through the end of October, and they're intricately carved into cats and scarecrows and other Halloween shapes, and then they line the pathways that just dazzle the visitors.
There's more at travelwisconsin.com. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
From the Civic Media Newsroom in western Wisconsin, I'm Jimmy Kuska. Fire danger is high across western Wisconsin today. The DNR is enforcing burn bans in many areas due to dry conditions caused by a lack of precipitation the past month and the drying of vegetation this fall. Most of Wisconsin is experiencing drought or abnormally dry conditions. Today, it will be windy and warm across the state, creating ideal conditions for wildfires. There have already been 8 wildfires this week across the state. You can visit the DNR's website to see the most recent dashboard. Severe drought is now affecting parts of northern Wisconsin. Douglas, Bayfield, Ashland, and Iron counties are experiencing severe drought. Parts or all of counties across northwestern Wisconsin are in moderate drought, while a pocket of largely Polk and St. Croix counties are in pre-drought stages. The area has had a rainfall deficit of several inches over the past couple of months, leading to flash drought conditions across parts of the area. The latest drought monitors showed Wisconsin going from 44% to 63% in drought. Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris will speak at a rally at UW-La Crosse today, one of 3 stops in Wisconsin as she campaigns ahead of the general election in November. Harris, who spoke in La Crosse back in April before taking the top spot on the presidential ticket, will also have appearances in Milwaukee and Green Bay on either side of the La Crosse rally. The 3 stops today mark her 6th visit to Wisconsin since the summer and the first appearances here since speaking on October 3rd in Ripon. Senator Tammy Baldwin is pushing the USDA to assist western Wisconsin farmers affected by the sudden closure of a Minnesota-based poultry producer, leaving farmers on the hook for feed for tens of thousands of chickens. Baldwin said in her letter that the USDA should provide financial assistance to affected farmers and promote legislation to avoid this situation in the future. Minnesota and Iowa state governments were able to help farmers, but no such law existed for this situation in Wisconsin. For Civic Media News in western Wisconsin, I'm Jimmy Kuska.
It's the Bucks and the Mavericks. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Bucks are in Dallas to take on the Mavericks in their final preseason game tonight. Chris Middleton had surgery on both his ankles in the offseason. Was he able to practice yesterday? Doc Rivers.
No, we didn't even think about it. He did everything else, all our skeleton stuff. So he did some one-on-one yesterday live, which was really good. So he's getting there.
Not going to play tomorrow.
No, he won't play tomorrow.
NFL, the Packers' new place kicker, Brandon McManus, worked out with the team, looked good in practice. The Packers host the Texans Sunday. College football, Badgers quarterback Braden Locke talked about facing another Big Ten rival this Saturday, the Northwestern Wildcats.
Yeah, I think it's just a week-to-week focus. We've got to continue to get a week better. We've got to continue to practice really well. In this league, you really can't look ahead or look back. If we've seen anything this college football season, it's that any given Saturday, somebody can beat somebody. So we got to respect our opponent. We got to respect, what they do. And the best way for us to do that is by preparing really well. We've got to go out and play a good game if we want to win on Saturday.
That's Wisconsin quarterback Braden Locke. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Imitation is the highest form of flattery, so they say. If that is the case, here are 9 famous musicians who should be flattered by a new album from artist Halsey. Her 5th studio album is perfectly titled The Great Impersonator. The 30-year-old singer-songwriter mimics 9 artists, including Dolly Parton, David Bowie, Dolores O'Riordan, Cher, and Bruce Springsteen. The Great Impersonator is available for download October 25th. Casting Al Pacino as Michael Corleone in The Godfather had a ripple effect of people almost getting fired, including Al Pacino and director Francis Ford Coppola, who fought to get Pacino in the film over the studio's choice, which was Robert Redford. Pacino said it was Coppola changing the schedule so he could film the scene where Michael kills the Turk and McCluskey in the Italian restaurant so he could show it to studio executives at Paramount because he knew they'd love it. They did, and history was made. Pacino's book Sonny Boy, a memoir, is available October 22nd. Comedian Jerry Seinfeld regrets saying it was the extreme left that killed comedy. He changed his position on his polarizing words and said they aren't true, according to Variety. Seinfeld appeared on Tom Papa's Breaking Bread podcast and equated his statements about political correctness in comedy to moving the gates on a ski hill, which barely made sense. Speaking of the filthy rich, if you haven't spent all your Christmas money already on autographed Bibles, gold hoop shoes, and cheap watches, Taylor Swift has announced that she will release new products before Black Friday to help people with their Christmas shopping and put a little walking around money in her own pocket. Swift will release an anthology edition of her latest album, Tortured Poets Society, on CD and vinyl, as well as an Eras tour book. The vinyl album will run you $60, but that price includes a 12x12 poster. It may sound tiny, but it's actually the perfect size for any tree fort. Well, if you haven't had enough of the Monster series and the Menendez brothers on Netflix, you might be interested in what's on tap for season 3, especially since it has a Wisconsin connection. Sons of Anarchy's Charlie Hunnam will play Ed Gein. The show has just added a few season pros to surround Hunnam in Laurie Metcalf, Tom Hollander, and Olivia Williams. Metcalf will play the mother of Ed Gein, Hollander will play Alfred Hitchcock, and Olivia Williams will play Hitchcock's wife Alma. Sounds whimsical. Dog and superhero lovers, have I got a film for you. Variety reports that Krypto the Superdog, Superman's companion, will have a role in James Gunn's upcoming Superman film. Gunn announced the newest cast member on social media since October is Adopt a Shelter Dog Month. In case you were wondering, yes, Krypto is also from the planet Krypton, Superman's home planet. The director says Krypto was inspired by his own dog, who reportedly is a very good boy, but a terrible actor. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be sunny and very windy today. Our high in the upper 60s with wind out of the south at 15 to 25, gusting to 35. Tonight, clear and breezy with a low in the mid to upper 40s. Tomorrow, sunny, still breezy with a high in the low 70s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 45.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.